we have the final talk of our day. With over 25 years of expertise in architecture and town planning, Mr. Shiv Marwaha has profoundly impacted development and infrastructure across India. Currently, he is serving as the principal of Shiv Marwaha and Associates. He has witnessed firsthand the transformative power of education in the life of children from underserved backgrounds. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Shiv Marwaha to the stage.
Thank you. Okay, good afternoon. We are all here after lunch. And after a good hearty meal, what do you feel? Sleepy, right? This dark air-conditioned room with good, comfortable environment makes you feel sleepy. But all these lights, actually coming on me, it'll make sure that you can't miss me. So that's the power of design. Let's hold on with that thought. I'll come back to it later. We've all been talking about AI. And AI, what all AI can actually do in our lives. Imagine a house which runs perfectly well. It's a flawless execution. It tells you, it cleans the house on its own. It manages the dishes. It makes food for you. It does everything for you. Now, what does that house? How do you feel as a human being in that house? It's flawless, it's perfect, but still something is missing in that house, and that something is a soul. This reminds me of a story by Ray Bradbury. The story is about, it's about a fully automated house. The story is called There Will Come Soft Rains. Now in this story, it talks about a house which is fully automatic. It does everything on its own, even to the fact that it wakes up the owners. It reminds them that you have to now get up from the bed, your food is ready. Once the food is done, it takes away the food, disposes of the food. It does everything meticulously. And once there was a nuclear meltdown in that little town, and everybody in that town dies. Now what happens after that also is the house continues to follow the same systems. Gets up, it announces that time to get up, it prepares meals, nobody's eating the meal, it disposes of the meals, it cleans the house, draws the curtain, does everything regularly. And one fine day, because of some other incident, the house catches fire. Once the house catches fire, what happens is that everything else gets burned down, and there is one particular wall which has the speaking clock. It continues to stay there. Everything else is in ashes, and this particular clock, again in the morning, says, "Good morning, Rob, time to get up." Now, can you imagine that this is what AI can do? This is what an automated system or a machine does. It does not recognize the presence of human beings. It does not, it continues on its own till the time it doesn't get broken down or it doesn't get spoiled. And that's where human beings become so important. For us, it's important to understand who is living there. When we are preparing food, we are looking at things differently. Whereas this machine continues to do the same thing day in and day out. And we also, all of us, we like very structured routines. We get up in the morning, come to school, do our work, go back, and we do all those kind of things. The moment we do that, do you realize that doing it day in and day out, you do get tired sometimes. And when you get tired, what do? You say, okay, let's go to the hills, let's take a break. Or let me just sleep at home, let me do something else. Why? Because by following that routine which the machine has set or somebody else has set for you, you yourself become a machine. You become an extension of the machine. And machines just go on and on. They don't get tired, they get broken down. But whereas human beings like us, we feel drained out. We are not machines. We have our emotions, we have our feelings. So when we go out, take a break for 2 days, we come back emotionally recharged. Doesn't that happen? We all crave for that time where we don't have to look at our phones, where we don't have to look at whatever is planned for us. We just want to do things which we like. And that is the power of emotions. What we feel, how we emote, and that is all which is required. Now, going forward, since I talked about emotions, there are about 34,000 known emotions to human beings. 34,000. That's a big number. Whereas we just talk about being angry, happy, sad, and maybe 3, 4 more. There are 6 primary emotions, but there are 34,000 emotions, and none of these emotions are working independently. They are working in connection with others. They are actually relying on something. You may be sad, you may be surprised, you may be happy, you may be joyful, you may be scared, you could be petrified. So there could be multiple emotions at work, and these multiple emotions, so there's a combination of emotions which actually drives human beings. Why am I talking about emotions? I'm an architect, and for us as architects, it's very important to understand the emotions before we design any project. It could be anything. And you can't say that the AI will design this for us perfectly. AI is a good helper. AI can do all mathematical calculations. AI can convert everything into equations, number crunching, and it can give you solutions. But what AI cannot do is, cannot bring in soul into that particular project that you're working on. It's humans which actually bring soul to a project. We are lives of everything. There's something called as emotional core of architecture, and that can only be brought in by human beings. There are so many emojis in your phone. You all work on smartphones, and you all know about them, a number of emojis. Every now and then they say, okay, 100 more emojis introduced in this upgrade of a whatever operating system you're working on. So do you realize that the difference between all these emojis is very subtle? You could be laughing out loud, or you could be smiling, laughing, within yourself. You could be looking at the same kind of an emoji, or there's a separate emoji for a different feeling, and the difference is very little. There's a very small difference between one emoji and the second emoji. So it's an emotion, and this is a combination of 34,000 emotions that we are talking about. And frankly, if you ask me, no emotion, whenever you send an emoji to a friend of yours, you are probably right in sending that emoji. The other person may or may not even understand that emoji, why you are sending that emoji. Some people may just get hurt, why are you sending me the laughing out loud emoji? Whereas you actually are feeling very nice about something, and you really want to laugh out loud. So if you have these kind of multiple emotions which are actually playing up, do you think we have computing systems or AI systems which can even understand the subtle nuances between the different emotions? They're not. And same thing, now when I bring it back and connect it with architecture, you'll find that one particular building can actually evoke so many emotions for everybody. Somebody may feel happy looking at it, somebody may feel awed looking at it, somebody may feel depressed looking at it, somebody may feel something else. And everybody is right. No, you can't say that you are wrong, or you are wrong, or somebody else is wrong. You can't be judgmental about it. But then these are emotions which a person is feeling from their point of view. For example, let's look at Taj Mahal. We've all seen Taj Mahal. Now Taj Mahal, 90% of people, and that's what is also reported, is that it's a monument of love. A lot of people would feel that Taj Mahal is something which evokes the feeling of love in people. That Shah Jahan actually made that monument as an ode for his beloved. That is one thing, right? Most of the people feel like that. It could also feel that as a visitor, if I get inside the Taj Mahal complex from the gate, all I feel is, it's wow, it's something like an awe. Somebody could make that at that point of time. It's a different feeling. For the emperor himself, the color white could also mean that this is purity of his love. It could also be grief, that he is grieving about his beloved wife who is gone now. So that's another emotion there. You see, all the white also symbolizes faith. There are the verses of Quran which are written on, which are inscribed on the marble in Taj Mahal. Now, if you look at that, you would feel that there is a faith that the Shah Jahan wanted the best for his wife. There are flowers inscribed. There are so many other things which are actually there. Even the water bodies that are there, they bring you calmness. So maybe he is grieving and he wants to become calm when he's walking through those promenades. So we are looking at the same building from different perspectives and all creating different emotions. And it is a very complex calculation or equation for any computer system or anybody to even decipher. Similarly, let's come back to National War Memorial, which is in India Gate. If you've seen that war memorial, what does it signify? There's an Amar Jaman Jyoti which keeps burning 24/7. It tells us to continue doing our work tirelessly. It all goes towards what are we doing for our country. It is actually designed in 4 concentric circles. The first one is Amar Chakra. Amar Chakra is, it tells the people who have actually lost their lives protecting the country. The second one is Veerta Chakra. The third one is Tyag Chakra. And the fourth one is Rakshak Chakra. So when we come out of that particular war memorial, we don't chit-chat. We don't talk to each other. We're not listening to our phones. We come back somber. We come back extremely calm. We come back with a feeling of patriotism. We come back with a feeling of gratitude that these are the people who have helped our country prosper. They've kind of secured our borders, and they have laid their lives. They've given a supreme sacrifice in protecting our country. So when we come out with a lot of empathy. We start feeling that they are one of us and we are one of them. And that brings us to the next point, which is empathy. So any design, which Shakila also I think mentioned before me, was that if you don't have empathy, then it cannot be human. It can only be mechanical. So we are bringing in empathy, and any good design and a great design, the difference is only empathy. And empathy comes not from machines. Empathy comes from human beings. That is important. So we have to still stay with the fact that human beings are the ones who bring in this emotional core of architecture. They are the emotional core of architecture. They bring in that emotional connect, which we need to form. If we don't form a bond with any particular place, we will never go back to it. All of you students, you like to come back to your school, not because you have to come to school. It's because you have developed a bond over time. You feel for the place. You can stay here till long also if something is required. So that's an emotional bond, and that plays a very important role when we come to designing such projects. I'm an architect, and I've been working for many years in educational sector. So we have designed schools which are super expensive private schools, CSR schools, urban schools, government schools, rural schools. Now all these schools may appear different to general people, that okay, these are different schools because they are catering to different segments of society, they are catering to different target groups, they have different kind of fee structure, they have different facilities. Okay, yes. On the outside, this is what they are. But the moment you come inside, all schools are same. All children are same. Because why? Because the school is actually for the children. And all children are absolutely identical in the sense that they don't bother about what is happening outside the walls. Their curiosity, their inquisitiveness, it all stays with them. The moment they come inside a school, they are like regular, normal children who are naughty, who are creative, who like to do everything. And when we design schools for children, it's actually for the children who are coming inside the school. You would understand that, and all of you, I'm sure, would have gone through that age group. When you are young, aren't you very curious about things? Little children are very curious. They want to know what is happening outside their classroom, what is happening inside, in the corridor, what is happening in the playfield, and they're all the time looking outside. They look at these opportunities to say, ma'am, may I go to the washroom? And they would go to the washroom, not because they want to go to the washroom. It's because they want to identify and they want to see what is happening around it, so they just to satisfy their urges of being curious. So if we actually start designing these schools and say, okay, the toilet block is very far off, what is going to happen? The toilet block is very far off. The children are going to take 10 minutes walking to the toilet, 10 minutes to coming back to the class. They'll miss almost about 15-20 minutes of their learning time, which is not a good thing for a school. For teachers, it becomes very difficult. So as architects, what do we try to do? We try to understand, okay, this is important, and we need to bring toilets very close to the classrooms. Same thing about staff room. A staff room, most of the children, when you come from home, when you come in junior classes, you get the separation anxiety. And you start considering your teachers as your guardians. So you want to be assured that your teacher is just around the corner. Now, they would make these excuses to go to staff room. They would want to see what is happening around there, what is their favorite teacher doing. So if you have staff rooms which are very close to this cluster of classes, the students can actually just go there, get satisfied, come back assured that, okay, my teacher is there, and now I can come back. They tend to look outside the windows and just gaze what is happening. It's very normal, and I wouldn't say that it's something which should be frowned upon. But there is something which is happening there. So we need to actually make sure that whatever is happening outside the windows is not distracting enough. Now, I'm just giving you these 2-3 examples to say that small design elements can actually do wonders to any design of a school. And coming back to the AI thing, this is not something which AI can do. AI can put together a very good plan. It can look at compliance checks. It can look at optimization of energy. It can do everything else for which data is available. But for human emotions, there is no data available. We are still a long way, and long way to actually be at a point where machines can start deciphering our intent, deciphering our intuition and our emotions. Till the time that doesn't happen, we still have to be the drivers of growth, drivers of the design, or whatever we are doing. And it's not just architecture. I would say we are the drivers for everything that we do. We can use AI as a helper. We can use AI for its brilliance in number crunching, analysis, but final decision has to be rested on human beings. And this is, a very important aspect of working with AI. We have to go into hybrid mode. We have to get into a space where, we can't ignore its presence, but we still have to be mindful of our emotions. If we are not doing that, we're not doing justice to any project or any work that we are doing in our lives. Even if you're cooking, even if you are treating a patient, the intuition which a human being brings in, that is not something which AI can really bring in. And a quick example, if I were to tell you about the amount of data which is required for AI to even process this, your normal phone cameras or regular cameras actually can shoot at about 12 megapixels, 24 megapixels, or 48 megapixels, maybe 100. Now, a 100 megapixel image would be about 50, 60 MB per image. Human eye can actually, the resolution of human eye is 576 megapixels. Do you think we have still reached there even with our camera technology? No. And that is the kind of data we are really looking at. Till the time we don't reach there, we have to keep ourselves, our head over our shoulders, and be empathetic and actually understand all the emotions, intuitions, whatever we have. There's something called a gut feel, and we have to go with our gut feel. That is what will make our future endeavors much better, much secure, and much more humane. I'll leave you with a quote by Maya Angelou. She once said that we can probably forget what somebody said to us. We can even forget what they did for us, but we can never forget how they made us feel. Thank you.